What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to The Drop, which is a weekly series every single Monday right here on the YouTube channel, where I go through the top video game releases of the week and let you guys know what new games are coming out just in case you do want to pick up something new to play. And this week we have yet another one of the season's biggest, most anticipated titles, along with a couple of re-releases, as well as the crown to one of Telltale's most beloved franchises that they have made to date. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. So first off, we have the Borderlands triple pack coming to the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and this is literally Borderlands, Borderlands 2, and Borderlands the pre-sequel with every piece of DLC that has ever been released for all three of these games for the price of $49.99, which is very, very impressive in my opinion. And Borderlands has become one of the most iconic gaming franchises for the past decade just because of its unique art style, the way that the game really plays. There's some pretty good driving mechanics combined with some pretty good shooting mechanics. And of course, the story is one for the ages just because of how quirky it is, how comedic it is, and in general, how great the story is as a whole. So if you're looking for a pretty good experience, or for some reason you've never experienced the Borderlands franchise, this is the most complete way to do so for $49.99. But of course, unfortunately, it is only available on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. However, if you were looking for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One experience or something similar, you could pick up the Handsome Collection, which has recently been on sale for around $25. Either way, this triple pack is definitely awesome for those that are still on the last gen or might have an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3 just laying around, and it is a pretty good value at $49.99. Next up, Game of Thrones, a Telltale game series, is coming out on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the PC, and this is coinciding with the release of the final episode of the Game of Thrones Season 1 series, Episode 6, The Ice Dragon, which is supposed to be pretty interesting. They don't normally let out a whole lot of details about what the final episode includes, just because that would kind of kill the entire vibe, the entire mystery. It'd be like knowing exactly how a TV series is going to end when you're watching the first episode, which would absolutely suck. But for $29.99, you can pick up a physical copy of all 6 episodes of the Game of Thrones by Telltale Season 1, which is a pretty good value. You know, that's $5 an episode. You get the disc. You don't necessarily have to download all of the titles onto your PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, and some people just prefer a physical copy of the game to the digital downloads, which is totally understandable. But of course, the holidays are coming up, and the way that I could see this really being a value is if you have someone that's been watching Game of Thrones and gets a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One for the holiday season. You could definitely be like, hey dude, you gotta try this out. This is pretty much just expanding on the world that you know and love. Or if you yourself are a Game of Thrones fan, for $29.99 you can't really go wrong because it's just, like I said, more of what you love. So again, Game of Thrones Telltale game series is coming out in the physical format this week for $29.99, or if you have been following along all along, the Episode 6, The Ice Dragon, is finally hitting the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and everything else this week. Next up, Deadpool is coming out on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and this was originally released in 2013, and it got pretty much between a 5.5 and a 7 out of 10, depending on what source you went to. It was not a 10 out of 10 game, though what makes the Deadpool game really shine through is the way that it really does personify Deadpool himself. If you aren't familiar with Deadpool, he's kind of like a superhero slash supervillain. There's no real way to describe how he goes about deciding what deeds are good and which are bad. He just kind of does what he wants, and one thing that's unique about the game is that he's in constant communication with the player. You are literally being talked to as you are playing through the game, which is something that not many superhero games really do, and Deadpool is definitely, in general, a unique individual. And of course, this game is being re-released on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in, build up to the new movie that's coming out in February 2015 starring Ryan Reynolds, or 2016, which is looking to be a pretty good movie. It seems like it's going to be really for the Deadpool fans, and of course, there are many trailers out there, but the game itself, like I said, got a 5.5 or a 7 out of 10 depending on where you went, so I suppose it's an okay game. It seems like the price tag is pretty high at $49.99 on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but I suppose that's okay. So if you are a huge fan of Deadpool and you were wanting to see what the new movie might entail on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, you might want to pick this one up this week. Finally, last but not least, we've got Star Wars Battlefront coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and this is one of the most anticipated games of the year. It's been a while since we've seen the Battlefront franchise really shine shine. In fact, the last really good game that I can remember is Star Wars Battlefront 2, which came out on the PS2, but I put most of my hours into the PSP version because I was younger then. I was out about with my mother and father, and I would be playing it on my PSP sitting in a corner at Belk's or something, and those were some of the most defining memories of my childhood, and it's nice to see that one of my favorite franchises ever is coming out on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 with a new coat of paint, some new mechanics, and pretty much just a Battlefield combined with a Battlefront game. It feels pretty good. Of course, in the game, you can play on famous locations such as Tatooine, Hoth, and Endor, among many others. You can play as Leia, Boba Fett, Skywalker, Vader, and the Emperor, among many other characters. There's a pretty fair amount of content in this game, though it does feel kind of empty for a full $60 release, mainly because there's no campaign. So, what I'm hoping for is that the dynamic kind of gameplay that you can do within Star Wars Battlefront, the way that you can go about completing the matches, the different ways that you can go about completing the objectives, I hope that the dynamic ability of that kind of thing will extend the lifespan of this game a good bit, though there is the chance that it might get very repetitive very quickly, and I do want to point that out. However, for $60, this is going to be one of the biggest games of the year, and it's coming on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Of course, there's going to be a ton of DLC for this released over the course of the next 12 months. Some of that DLC is going to be corresponding with the new Episode 7 movie, which is coming out in December. Hopefully, there won't be many spoilers in that, but it is nice to see that they're going to be supporting the game long after release, and it does feel like an awesome Star Wars experience. So again, if you are looking to get in on the new Battlefront experience, you can pick it up on the Xbox One or PlayStation 4 this week. As a reminder, Black Friday is coming up in a couple of weeks. It's the day after Thanksgiving. I believe it's on the 27th of November. So if you are in America and you're looking for some pretty good deals, a lot of these games have been in ads that have leaked or been released onto the internet, and some of the games in the past couple of weeks, such as Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Halo 5, Forza 6, a lot of these games are getting huge discounts, some up to 50% off. So if you're on the fence about buying one, you might want to just wait a couple of weeks and see if it's going to be on sale on Black Friday. You can get it online. Some stores do digital downloads half off. It's definitely a good time of year to wait and see if these games are going to be on sale in a couple of weeks right after Thanksgiving. So there you guys have it. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like down below and comment what games you're going to be picking up this week. Have you really been looking forward to Battlefront? Do you love Deadpool? Have you been following along the Game of Thrones thing all the way through the entire season? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel or you've never seen any of my other videos, you might want to head over and check out some of that other content, because I do upload new stuff like 3 or 4 days a week, depending on the week. So there's always something new right here on the channel when you drop by to watch some videos. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.